Before we begin today's episode, do yourself a favor. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this platform, as well as hit the bell button to get notification for future episode releases. Oh yeah, and thank you to all 7 of you. Hello, hi, and hey. My name is Reed Mason, and you are now in my house, Reed's house, with our favorite Tsotsi, our intruder, Delight on Decks.
Lying next to Lucy in the hospital bed. Both of us crying, the CT scan images still glowing on the computer screen. The identity as a physician, my identity, no longer mattered. With the cancer having invaded multiple organs of my system, the diagnosis was clear. The room was quiet. Lucy told me she loved me. I don't want to die, I said. I told her to remarry, that I couldn't bear the thought of her being alone. I told her I should refinance the mortgage immediately. We started calling family members. At some point, Victoria came by the room and we discussed the scan, the likely future, treatments. When she brought up the logistics of turning residency, I stopped her. Victoria, I said, I'm never coming back to this hospital as a doctor. Don't you think? One chapter of my life seemed to have ended. Perhaps the whole book was closing. Instead of being pastoral figure aiding life in transition, I found myself the sheep, lost and confused. Severe illness wasn't life-altering. It was life-shattering. It felt less like an epiphany, a epiphasing burst of light, illuminating what really matters, and more like someone had just firebombed the path forward. Now I would have to work around it. My brother Javin had arrived at my bedside. You have accomplished so much, he said. You know that. Don't you? I cited. He meant well, but the word rang hollow. My life had been building potential that now gone unrealized. I had planned to do so much, and I had come so close. I was physically dilapidated. My imagined future and my personal identity collapsed, and I faced same existential quadrantes my patient faced. The lung cancer diagnosis was confirmed. My carefully planned and hard-won future no longer existed. Death, so familiar to my work, was now paying a personal visit. Here we were, finally face to face, and yet nothing about it seemed recognizable. Standing at the crossroads where I should have been able to see and follow the footprints of countless patients I had treated over the years, I saw instead only blank, harsh, vacant, gleaming, white desert.
That was the voice of a very close friend of mine, acquaintance, and former colleague. Your name is?
My name is Mpho.
Mpho. Yeah. Mpho, thank you for coming through. I know Mpho because we used to work together, and there's a one story that stands out the most because it's from my side. We had worked together on an installation at work, and we didn't have much communication at that time. Mind you, we sat in the car with each other for 4 hours, but it was very touch and go conversation because it was the first time. Now I'm working with this guy because he was new to the department. So we'd work and then let the week go, and work was fine, no problems at all. Then there's the one time I was in the lab, and he had come to join me at the lab. By that time I was doing nothing in the lab. I was on YouTube checking out my stuff, the things that I'm interested in. And when he came in there, the excitement that I heard in his voice, I'm like, oh, you like this too? So yeah, we nerded out. It was nice to nerd out with a brother. we into the same kind of ideas when it comes to space, time, and when it comes to philosophy, psychology. And I think from there we just kicked it off. I think that's the best part of our relationship as friends. So I am his muse and he is mine, and is got a similar title as With Delight on Decks. He's my day 10 because it doesn't. We didn't get that click immediately from the get go. But thank you for coming, Mpho.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. And what's the title of the book you just read from?
The title of the book is called When Breath Becomes Air by an author called Paul Kalaniti.
Kalaniki. Oh, okay. Very cool. Thank you for that piece. It was so, for me, the piece that you read was so honest. And I sat there with my heart beating fast because I've had to sit in situations where you are told, yeah, well, they're going to die.
Yeah.
And it really didn't sound that funny, but, your eyes sit wide open and you're not really sure in that moment what to deal with. So basically, let me start with this then. When you got the book and you started reading it, did you have in the back of your mind that, yes, I'm going to have to share this because I can't be alone in this?
Yeah.
It feels so real because it's a true story.
It does. And one of the things, as you know me, these are not my kind of books. I like to read factual book. I'm mostly into science and history, mostly. This book, when we bought it as a family. When we bought it, it was because a similar situation came into the family. So you needed something to give you perspective. You needed something to give you hope. And I come from a very small family of people who like to read, and reading it's kind of therapeutic. So we gifted us this ourselves as a ways to cope. So
did it help?
It did kind of help. It did kind of help to kind of understand life.
Sure.
To kind of understand it's not time based. It's more about the quality of life that you put in as to the time of the time you spend on earth. You can spend 8 years and still not have lived.
Sure.
You can live for 90 years and still not have lived, but live for 25 years and impacted people differently. So it gives you that. I feel it gives you that. Sure. It helps you focus on what quality of a human being are you?
Yeah.
What is it that you are doing?
Thanks for that. Delight, at least now we must take from that piece a quote for the end. It was very nice. Thank you very much. If you don't mind me now, I did some research before because you did tell me the book that you were going to bring, and I was like, nah, screw you, dog. I'm going to ask these questions. Very, very nice because we've all been impacted by the honesty of hospital situation. Yes. And usually it's better not in a big crowd, a small group. And thanks that you mentioned that reading is therapeutic. It really, really, really is. Idris Elba said the one time, if you want to learn something, go read it.
Yes.
But going back to the piece you read, Haywood is the doctor.
Yes.
Is she the doctor that comes and lets him know you've got this amount of time left before it's game over? Because the what I did read was that she comes in first, he doesn't want her, and then when she comes in again and so, look here, man, put your issues aside. I think we're going to have this conversation.
Yes, Haywood. Yeah.
Dr. Haywood is it. So now, if we're allowed to venture in this, you don't have to give names or the relation with it. When you had to sit in a room and be part of that, what was the actual feeling like, though? And how did you reconcile with it? Not so much, don't give me the solution, but how did you have to reconcile with the honesty and earnesty of a situation in that the Dr. Kalaniski was in?
Yeah, I think in our case, it's we were lucky. I don't know if luck is the right. We were fortunate. I don't know.
Not that loud. It's not lucky at all.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the person who was in this position was very strong. She was very wise, and she was stronger than both. She was stronger than most of us. The ironic thing is she was the person who was carrying us throughout this
Oh, wow.
while she was there,
Oh, my, yeah.
So she helped us deal,
Yeah.
and she helped us accept, and she helped us plan. We didn't want to accept. We entertained her because we had to entertain her, but deep down we knew, and then we've accepted. It was a journey of 3 to 4 years.
Oh, wow.
Right. Yes. Yeah. It was a very long journey.
I'm so sorry.
And then and that person was very realistic, was very accommodative, was very funny. We could have conversation. It was not all doom and gloom all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was doom and gloom. It was more doom and gloom while we were not with her than we were with her. While we were with her, it was more fun, it was more chuckles, it was more. So we were fortunate enough to be in that instance. So when we were facing that moment, obviously we are human beings, and you don't want to let go, but you kind of hardened yourself to say, like, look, this is going to be my reality going forward, and the surgeons, the people of the healthcare facility were very helpful. They were very communicative. They were they were very personal. They knew us by name. They called us with their personal phone numbers. And it was a journey that we walked, but it was comforting. It was comforting to know that, look, there will be life after this.
Yes.
It will be different. We will have to adjust.
Yeah.
And but we knew before that, so we didn't have to, as opposed to this book where he has to find his feet while going through it. Like with us, we kind of paced ourselves to say, like, look, it's a possibility, and it might go south, and
eventually in the you said 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah. So
similar situation I had once. It's not nice to witness.
Yeah,
like
it is.
you're so right that you have to pace yourself. You
Yeah.
really have to. Now, it's like you're in my head because I wanted to go back to the book then. So the book is dealing with him as a doctor and then as a patient.
Yes.
And there's a lot of that bouncing up and down. But essentially, at the end, he has to accept that he's
Yes.
the patient.
Yes.
Do you think this book then is also, in essence, teaches us that too? Because from the outside, I can be my nigga is about to go. Cancer is going to take him. So I go through those paces. This is going to be my life. I need to be useful at the time being, and so on and so forth. But does this book help us to understand it? Now, all that pee I'm hearing, it's on me. Does that book help with that as well?
I think it does. I think it does. It does it so well. In a sense, it teaches you to be kind. I think as someone who've worked with doctors before, you've worked with doctors.
Yes,
you work with oncologists.
Yes.
And you know how oncologists are.
Yes, I do.
I think you can generalize oncologists, right? You can generalize. I think
yes.
the few that gave you a different experience are very few.
Very.
There are very few. All of them are almost the same. Yes. I think if they were to be on the other side of the fence, they'll be kinder. I think this book teaches you to be kind. I think this book teaches you to understand the situation. I think when you are a doctor, when you are a neurosurgeon, you are a doctor, he's a patient. His work, she's work. She's a human being. He's a human being, but his work. But when you get experiences of the other side, he's a human being more than their work. So it teaches you to be kind.
Kindness.
Yeah.
Is that the most important? Why I ask, because he puts himself through so much educational rigor to get to a point. Like, did that rigor of education now teach him at that point to be kind? Or was it, now that he's in the situation, he knows? Because I have this thing I struggled with as well. Part of the reason why I'm like this is because I just want to learn as much as I can. I want ultimate world dominance. It won't come. It definitely won't. And he put himself through med school, he put himself history class, literature, he did philosophy in a real fight for, I want to gain knowledge. Did that help his process of having to let go that, my nigga, you're about to go now?
I wouldn't. I think it might have. It might not have. Like this person had his whole life figured out. You
Isn't
know.
it?
Yeah, he did
Yeah.
have his whole life figured out, and he was at a point whereby the last piece of the puzzle was just coming through. Like neurosurgeon, I've
Yeah.
done my residency. This is
Yeah.
it, and he valued family. And I think
Nice.
from my understanding of the book, he wanted to be a father. You know,
Yeah.
like all of his titles,
Yes.
him being a father to his son mattered most.
Oh, wow.
And he was at that point whereby like, look, I'm done with my I'm a neurosurgeon. I've achieved. I'm gonna be a father to my son. Life has been kind to me, and you know, I'm fortunate to have achieved what I've achieved. Then that happened. You know, I think that's where the struggle comes. The thing that he wanted the most, to be a father and a husband, he'll never be able to fulfill.
It's,
You know,
does he not have children?
he has a son.
He has a son
Yeah.
that he doesn't get to raise.
Yes.
Oh my God.
You
So
know.
sorry for Lucy.
Yeah.
You know what gets to me about I'm not a big fan of, like you said earlier on, I'm not a big fan of these kind of reads.
Yeah.
I like a little bit of fiction, a little bit of science. This is one I'm reading now, Crazy. I'll give it to you. It's
You like a
500
little bit
pages.
of horror and
Little bit of yes.
nasty things.
I like.
Yeah.
Delight, please cut that part out. I like nasty things. Yeah, but this one got me all up in arms in terms of my. Started questioning these things that I was looking for. Philosophy.
Yes.
The book. You finished it, right?
Yes.
Does
Well,
it,
I haven't done the epilogue yet, but yeah.
who reads it? Okay, I was going to expose myself. I don't read epilogue. I don't read, what is it?
Prelogue.
All those things. I don't read those things. So I go straight, after we pass the numerals, the Roman numeral, I go straight to page 1 to the end. I don't care what the next release is. Sorry, Lucy, I'm not going to read what you got to say. Yeah. So did the book cover having to reconcile on what you think needs to be done and what exactly does need to be done as the outsider, Lucy and brothers, and also as the patient with all the knowledge he has, because he does know. Check here, check this. Did you check my blood pressure? Did you check my sugars? So does the book go through that phase where he's fighting exactly what's going to happen and what I think is going to or must happen?
I think, yes, at some point, initially.
Okay.
Initially, while he's trying to deal with himself, while he's trying to grasp his reality, while he's trying to understand he does deal with that. He's a doctor. He's a doctor doctoring himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then
Sucks.
but I think, like something that you mentioned earlier about his history, I think it helped him overcome that.
Oh, nice.
You know, I think it helped him overcome that, because he went to that then straight to questioning the quality of life that he lived. He stopped being a doctor, then he started being a human being. You know, but initially he does doctors himself. He does. No, he's a neurosurgeon.
He's a
he
neurosurgeon. He can't help but.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he I think him being in philosophy, in literature, and having gone through the journeys that he went, helps him overcome that quicker. He didn't struggle for a very long time to overcome that.
So it wasn't too much yes, no, yes, no. It
yeah.
came yes. Okay, stop now.
Yeah.
And the reading aspect of it for you, did it help you in that sense as well? Did it really help? I'm only asking this because I remember once there was so my mom had cancer as well.
Yeah.
And she was a doctor. So what she thought should be done, and as opposed to what doctors were actually doing, like there's some part of her that I'm like, just stop it, okay? Just stop it. The literature says this, the book says this, the article say this and that. I'm only older now because she passed when I was much younger. Only older now, and I realize the reading that I had accumulated all the way up until now, does it strengthen how I must deal with the next situation? Because at first we all like you said, we must feel the emotions. I'm so sad, my nigga's gonna go. It doesn't last long. I need to really be useful, especially that he might be the patient. The patient might need me to add to his positivity to the next point. The reading aspect of it, Do you feel that it helped you? Because you're much older now.
Yeah.
I don't know. We said we stopped counting after 30.
Yeah.
We don't know your age. so did the reading of this book really help to deal with future situations?
I think it does. I think it does in a sense that it helps you love harder if you are a lover. It helps
So
you,
much a lover.
you know, it helps you appreciate now. You know, it helps you, tells you that now matters, you know. Now is the quality, now is the content, now is the thing, now it's the gold, you know. So work with now, you know, and do it now. Don't do it next week, don't do it the other week.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
if you lose now, you know, like I've spent time with my nigga for 10 days. Those were the best 10 days of my life.
Yeah.
Then there'll be no regrets
July?
after. You know, so there'll be no regrets after that.
Yeah.
You know, you learn to deal, you know, you learn to move, you know, you remember good moments, you know, you remember, you know, you don't, you are not hung out on he's gone. You are hung out on like, I was with this guy.
My
Remember
nigga.
this, remember that, you know.
Yeah.
I think it helps with that, you know.
Are you built that way, or did you develop? Did you acquire? Did your heart acquire the sense of you know what we read is no longer just to read. You read words and it's finished. It's a real digestion.
Yeah.
Before, during, and after a situation. Is that what happened to you as well?
I think I wouldn't know, but I would suspect that it's something that I acquired, but I acquired it due to curiosity. It was something that I longed for. It was something that I having been in similar situation a couple of times, you know, you need to
Yes.
to toughen up,
I
you know.
have to.
Yeah,
Other
you know,
choice.
you have to toughen up. But like reading does help. Understanding other people's perspective does help. Understanding other people's journeys does help.
And the
You know,
imagination as well.
yeah, the imagination does help. So I think reading does give you a better window to you know, to certain things.
Like, I'm gonna make sure my daughter listens to this. I'm really
She
gonna.
must.
Yeah, she has to, because you know I've done a couple of things, and I like that we can focus on the importance of reading. That you know it also does help with how to deal with emotions.
Yeah.
It's not so much reading now. I'm fancy. I like
Yeah.
opening a book and look at me in my English.
Exactly.
But it does also help in the realness of the situation. Yeah. You better reconcile with this. I need to read this book entirely, because all I did was the research.
Yeah,
on it.
you do. You must.
It's a must to have to go through this, especially when you know what to look for
Yes.
as well, because we're much older now. And
Exactly.
the reading is no more just to pass time. It's you really want to gain something from
Exactly.
it. Yeah.
And you must never be selfish anymore. Remember, you can be the strong individual person who's sure about themselves, but there are people who are around you who might never be sure about themselves, and they're looking out from you, and they're drawing from you. So I think you need to develop that character that says I have dependence. I don't know, for a lack of a better word, I have people who are drawing from me, you know. So I need to give positive, you know, positive feelings, positive feedbacks, positive advice, you know, outlooks, you know.
That's amazing. Thank you very much.
Because people like you are very realistic, and sometimes being realistic, it's very brutal.
Yeah, it's
so
brutal,
you need to learn to package your realisticness,
Yes.
and reading helps with that.
Nah,
Yeah.
it really does. After some time, I used to be on some. Stop doing that.
Yeah.
But you realize sometimes that the person on the bed, or the person going through the thing, needs your positivity, your positive feedback, even if you don't agree. But funny that literature that gave facts and the realness helped you to understand that this person might not now need facts and realness. They need you to be there. Did it help in that sense as well?
Yeah, it does.
Big time.
You package things like, but don't you think maybe we should try? Yeah, you're no longer imposing, you know.
Yes, It's no longer, hey man, sangomas don't work. Because
Yeah.
they don't.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, quite
so
true.
you are kind of sensitive.
Yes,
Yeah,
very much.
yeah.
Never took you for the sensitive type, though.
I'm very sensitive.
Serious?
Yeah,
Don't lie.
I'm a sensitive
Okay, then
person.
why don't you sensitively explain why I haven't gotten your mixes? Not the point. So the next question is based on scenarios,
Mm,
um, especially with this type of book that you had brought today. So the first scenario would be so there's this book I read called Horizontal Instruments.
mm.
It's about a guy. He's a watchmaker,
Okay.
so he knows not just how to rebuild a watch, replace a battery and whatnot. He knows the whole thing of how we calculated time, how we the church decided to now put this onto our calendars, onto clocks and all of that. He knows the actual science and the anthropological stance and all those kind of things.
Mm,
And so this is the guy whose wife got Alzheimer's, and he now has to reconcile so badly that now her brain is playing with the idea of time when
mm,
he's got a clear grasp on it. And at the end, he had to make a decision. Do I let go of her? Do I? Who do I deal with
mm,
now with all of this? And this is the guy who's got a lot of information about time.
mm,
And he had to struggle with that so much because she kept reverting back to before they met,
mm,
where just when they met, when in actual fact they'd been together for 20 years.
mm,
So, um, why I'm bringing up that scenario is he had to make the hard decision at the end to send her to a home.
mm,
We're Africans. We don't
mm.
send people
Go
to
to homes
homes.
now.
Would I mean? I hope it's a little similar to that.
Mm,
Do you think having both those senses makes you understand on how to deal with it as Africans? Because we need to. I'm not saying we have to stop. It doesn't have
mm.
to stop, but we need to get to a point where facts are facts,
It's true.
regardless of how you package them. Facts are facts.
Yeah.
These people are gonna need to be looked after, and in a
Mm, and
sense, in a way that might not suit you.
that's true.
You know.
Mm.
So do scenarios like that. Now that you have all that information, did you deal with it better with having to understand that I'm not sending them to a home. I'm taking it up on myself. Morally, I feel like I'm going to look after my mom. I'm going to look after
Mm,
my brother. He's the one that lost a leg or something, and eventually it's going to get to his spine and then the brain
mm.
and die. We don't deal with it the same way as
Yeah.
other people. So Africans,
Mm.
the 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 moral high ground we have to take, or not.
Mm.
Do you feel this spoke to you as well? The book that you're reading.
Yeah, it did.
Mm.
It did, but I think I had consciousness. I had thoughts like that even before. I think about culture. Culture evolves. I
Yes.
think we don't want to evolve as Africans
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
with times.
Yeah.
Culture evolves. Some of the things that we did them because there were no any other alternatives. And we've identified with those things as things that is our identity, of which is not.
Yeah.
There were those things we did them because there were no any other alternatives. So I think we should evolve. If you really love your brother, if you really love someone, you would want them to be taken care of the best way possible.
Yeah.
And we are not equipped to do that. We are not equipped to do that. So if you're gonna give them the best care, consider alternatives. Consider things that are there that will be the best care for him. You telling them that it's gonna be okay while they're in pain in bed doesn't help them with anything.
Zero.
So I think we need to re-educate ourselves as African regarding that, to say, look, culture evolves. It doesn't mean you're abandoning your people. You can go check on them. You can go call them. You can, we live in a global village. You can go anywhere, anytime,
Yes.
and talk to people anywhere,
Anytime.
FaceTime anywhere.
Yeah.
So giving people the best care possible doesn't say you've abandoned them. Doesn't
Yes.
say you're going against your culture.
Yes.
It just says you live in 2022. You are an African that lives
Yes.
in 2022
Yes,
as an
so-
African who lived in the 1900s.
Okay. And that's difficult, man, because we still of the generation where our parents have a stronger feeling or feel for identity, for culture and everything. Because right now, both my parents are doctors. Hey, but you must hear them sometimes, man. When they are the patient,
Yeah.
they I don't want to say revert back, but let's just say they revert back to, no, we need to pray. I'm like, but
Yeah.
you need medication and rest. Also you need to eat.
Yeah.
But when they patients, they're the worst. My parents are the worst patients. And I've had to fight with that part of shut up. I know I'm your son, but shut up and take your meds, eat and rest. And it has to play with the culture thing as well, because they know the actual facts of something's happening right now. So you're right. I think we need to accept now, because we're also at the age where people are doctors and specialists, that we have to accept culture is evolving, and that regardless of whatever information you bring together, that we must deal with it best way possible, especially for someone going through something with the case of the doctor is this one as well.
Exactly. And going back to that point that we made earlier about being kind, I think you should be kind as how you present the evolvement.
Yes.
For a lack of a better
Yes,
word. You know,
yes,
like,
true
look,
story.
you're stuck in the past,
Yeah.
but I'll be kind as to introducing evolution,
Evolution,
into this, because you still think you need prayer, you still think you need, but I'll
burn
be kinder
incense
to
and
say,
stuff.
like,
Yes.
look, you can do it after you've done that. Take this,
Yes.
Yeah.
1 + 1 is not 2 until you need to build a car.
Yeah.
The realness. So don't tell someone 1 + 1 is not 2. Sorry, very relevant. But also on top of that, when you read the book, did you ever have the sense of thinking about euthanasia, having to kill oneself off so that you don't have to deal with the pain? He doesn't do that. I hope he doesn't do that, because I'm still going to read the book. Did it make you think of those kind of situations? Because if you were in it, I always thought, because I like bikes, in the weird scenario that I'm quadra, what, I can't use, just take me, bro. Just, I need to make that decision. Is there honesty in having read the book to yourself
Regarding that,
regarding such a
space.
situation? Having to, this is a hard decision to make, but we're gonna need to make this. If I get cancer of the lungs, it's not nice. I pride myself in exercising, and I've got all my tattoos and all the way I look. And then if a cancer takes away what I feel is my identity, now I must take off my beard, I must take off my hair, and some, it's getting out of hand. But the moment I start to shit blood, vomit blood, blood's in my get me that chocolate. That finishes everything.
Okay, can I quote a scripture to
Yes, please.
to help you with that? Well, I don't. I'm lying. I'm not gonna quote the scripture, but there's something that says in the Bible. I'm sure you know it.
Yes.
As a Bible reader, that says something about your body's been temporary. You'll be giving new bodies in heaven, so you shouldn't worry about your tats. You'll get a new body in heaven.
No, thank you. Thank you
I hope that helps.
Yeah, no, it does help. Talking about euthanasia, the actual medical term for this. No, but did it make you think about that though? Although it's not happening in the book. Yeah,
it's not. Yeah, I think it does. Well, with me, I think I'm a very hardcore individual.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
the new body in heaven.
I think
good idea. Yes,
I'm a very
thanks for that. I feel better actually.
Hardcore individual, and I wouldn't want to prolong people's pain. Right, I don't have issues with letting go. Right,
yes.
But the people around me might. Right, so I think I with that regard, I need to be cognizant of the fact that the people around me might not be ready to let go, but at the same time, you're prolonging the pain. You're delaying the inevitable. This person is in pain, and the situation is not gonna get better. So if you love them so much, like, get them there quicker. But I think society and Black Africans, we are not ready to have those kind of discussions yet.
It's important to have them.
Yeah.
I like, you were insisting before you had come for this, you were insisting the honesty in the book is very helpful. You realize every single person will know, might never know. You know what we all have in common? Death.
Yeah.
I think, and we don't talk about it in Black. We're told to respect it, but that's about it. But the honesty of it, like, yeah, but mama, you don't know how I'm going to go out, and if I do have to go out in the instance of cancer, I don't want to deal with the pain, and I would hope that the person you explain to that, I'm not saying I'm all for euthanasia. All I'm just saying, if there was a situation where that was an option, I'd want the conversation to start
Yeah.
and to be very honest. Why do you think we don't have that? Why? I mean, I'd like to read about a black doctor
Yeah.
having to go through this kind of thing. Why do you think we don't have that?
I don't know. I think it speaks to the psychology of society. I think we find the thing that I didn't want to discuss earlier: morality, religion, what is right, what is wrong,
Yeah.
the value of life. But what is life when you are in that situation? Is it
Actually.
worth it?
Oh.
I think that's the problem. The reason why we don't want to have those discussions is because of we are morally inclined, not to, not to take life,
Yeah.
God, or maybe not God, but we believe in a greater power, and I think that belief it's a coping mechanism. Hence, I don't judge or I don't criticize people who have that. I think it works for them, but it conflicts when it gets to things like euthanasia. It conflicts so much because you love this person so much. You are educated enough, you are an adult enough to know this person is going to die. Why are you prolonging this?
And sometimes they go through pain, having those cancer spread. They just scream out of nowhere. The one thing, you're walking with them, then they just fall, and regardless of the situation, it doesn't have to be cancer, but sometimes I didn't want to end their misery. Do you feel that ending a misery, a very bad way of talking about euthanasia this way, but ending misery, does it have to be both sides accepting of a situation? The person that needs the misery to end, and the people that are going to have to say, I give you the go ahead. You can.
Yeah, I think the you are right. It has to be both sides, but it has to be, the power has to lie more from, if you are in the capacity to give a go ahead. Then we should respect that.
So I mean, then it begs the question: we should have such conversations.
We should
much earlier.
And it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be a sad thing to discuss. We are gonna die.
You are gonna die.
It shouldn't be. I should put it on my will.
Yes. Yes.
I should put it there. Like, look, if I'm incapacitated and I give the powers to my mother or to my wife, and if there are no prospects, if the chances are less than, be mathematical about it. If the chances are less than 25%, let me go and go about your life.
I'd spoken to someone about euthanasia because she had read a book called Moral Hazard, where, again, Alzheimer's. This lady was dating a much older man, and then he got Alzheimer's diagnosed, and then he was on and off with the Alzheimer's, because apparently it hits that way until eventually it takes you, shrinks your brain, and makes you die. But she had to deal with the fact that when she had to go back to the hospital the one time, she's like, your man is going through something. She's like, no, it just makes him sound like a child. Like, no, he was, defecating and painting the wall with it, and like, that's pain for all of us. It is. That's really pain for all of us. We need to make it a norm to have to discuss about the realities of life. And what helps with the book that you brought today and the passage you read is that he doesn't toy too much with the up and down. Eventually, he has to let Dr. Haywood do her work.
Yes.
I really feel bad for his wife, though, because can you imagine if they had to go to that conversation to say, okay, do we end this? Because now we know, if I know I'm going to die in 3 days, do I end it now?
And
who do I give the right for
and
that?
they were so young. I think he was 36 or 38.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. They're so young. So you can imagine
like that,
it adds,
Yes.
it adds, like, your life is beginning, let's be honest.
My nigga. Yeah, actually.
So it's for the wife, especially, like you're saying, it's a very difficult thing to deal with.
My goodness. Man, so sad. I mean, euthanasia it doesn't have to be spoken about so lightly as I do bring it up here, but
why not?
Well, I mean, No, because I'm able to joke about it or throw a few jokes here and there, but I mean the realness of it needs you to calculate it. Like I'm useless to the state,
Yes.
let alone to you or to myself. I can't move my hands, I can't move my feet, I can barely speak. I have to blink or mumble. Like that must be hurtful. I'm hurt because you hurt to have to go through this. End it. Just end it. I mean,
And the journey of healing, it's long, and
extremely.
it's unpredictable. And for it to start, it starts with you accepting the situation has happened. For you prolonging the pain, you never get to that point. You always,
Never.
imagine if you had to go through that a situation like that for 12 years. Your life is stopped for 12 years.
12 years, man.
Yeah.
The child is done with school by then.
Your life has stopped for 12 years. You are crying for 12 years.
Yeah.
You're questioning yourself for 12 years.
Yes.
So I know it's like to morally inclined people, this is gonna sound very immoral, but like, life is for the living. Let's live it.
Yes. So amazing. You did this one podcast I sent to you. Did you finish it till the end where that boy says to the journalist, like, we stop crying for the dead?
Yeah.
That's
Yes. That was very powerful.
Extremely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you will feel the pain.
Yeah.
You will. And you're right. Be in your emotions and everything. You will. Getting over something is not as simple as just, now that I know it happens, it's done. But having to prolong when you know there could be a solution is hurtful, because as you said just now, it's for the living, guys. Yeah, just don't put yourself through all of that.
And it goes back to the power that I discovered about this book, about the quality of life, the content of life that person has given you. Focus on that.
Yes. Oh wow.
Focus on that.
That is deep. Yo, I just want to get it out there. I do love you, Delight. If I've never said it before. But like I said, you in my head, because the next question is, how must someone now deal with, because at some point we all have some sort of guilt, because some of us know there's solutions to certain things. So, for example, I had a cut on my eye, and then the problem extended to the eye itself. And I didn't tell the truth about what happened about it. But knowing that there's a solution, let's get the solution first. But now I don't have entire guilt, because we did go through the solution of medical procedure for whatever situation I have, or whatever the next person might have. Do you think people have to deal with some sort of guilt whenever they know there's a set date for death, or there's a set solution for what you thought doesn't have a solution?
I think guilt weighs you, man. I think I'd rather be apologetic than guilty. I think
yes.
Yeah,
Straight talk. Yeah.
Guilt weighs on you. I think first things first, your intentions has to be in the right place. You can make mistakes. It's a given. You can offend people, but your intention has to be in the right place. And like we said earlier, package it nicely. Deliver it okay. Yes. If it offends people, be apologetic about it. Yeah. If you feel that you did something wrong, be apologetic. Don't be guilty. Guilty will weigh on you. Guilty will eat you up. Yes. Guilty will make you question a lot of things.
Too many things.
You're gonna second guess every step that you make. So if your heart is in the right place, if your intentions are correct, and it turns out to be a mistake, be sincerely apologetic about it. Yeah.
Does that fit in with the kindness part as well?
Yes, it does.
So that don't have to deal with guilt because I'm kind, man.
Yeah,
I'm a very nice guy.
So I think guilt it's a very dangerous thing, because people can use that even against you. They can always brew it like tea. Yes. They can always it's a tea that never loses flavor.
Never.
It always brews and brews and brews. So I'm not one to feel guilty about anything. I'm one to apologize when I'm wrong.
Yes.
Sincerely so, yes. and make amends if I need to make amends. But it's done. It's done.
Nah.
Yeah.
And I mean, from the whole discussion that we had touched on, we touched religion, philosophy, and all of that. Does this maybe the book? Does this maybe want to help guys get into psychology as well.
Speaking of which, maybe we'll speak about it about the podcast. Remember, I had to go to school and pursue my, my master's. I've abandoned that. I didn't register after I've paid. I was supposed to study first semester. I didn't pay. I think I'm gonna go for psychology next year, January.
Okay.
I'm applying on the 1st. Full blown. I'm sure now. I am sure. Sorry to disturb you.
If me and Delight can still push this. Can you please be on the show once you get your master's and your PhD?
Yeah, after 7 years.
After it's fine. We patient. By then, Delight will be my day. What will this be? That would really, because I remember I always used to come to you with ideas of psychology, and what was very helpful, especially in the friendship, is we wouldn't go off of suggestions. We'd go off of, okay, what do you think? What do you think? Okay, now what does psychology say? Then we'll do the mainstream media, but then we actually get into honest realness of but this is an article written in the Science Daily of this, so that's what helped. I've really got a different idea of what psychology is, so I'm curious as to when you do get into it, did this really strengthen the book? Did it strengthen that I'm doing psychology?
I think so. I think the journey and the books, like I was like, because I was about to register and I was like, nah man, I engineering is something that I can do, but do I really want to do it? And especially, and you helped me a lot. I've never had the person to bounce ideas off. I've never had a person to discuss thoughts with. To some of the questions that I have are taboo to society. And people
you sent me this one thing to read. I read to my brothers where you said, I don't want to watch this movie because I'm like, why would you do this to me? So I was not going to die alone. I went to my brothers and I read it and they just sat there in silence. I'm like, okay, maybe I shouldn't bounce off ideas off of everyone. Sometimes it must be just the two of us. But I truly understand. Thank you for answering and really engaging with me as much as you could based on the book and your experiences and feelings. I really do appreciate that you'd make the time away from your wife. But usually we have Delight when we get to this point where he's got a question, comment, and something that he wants to add. Delight, please holler at your guest. Shout out to the people out there. Delight.
Welcome, Mpho. Nice to have you. Awesome read, it sounds like. And I think I'm going to read up on it. I think a note just to mention something is when it comes to death, I've picked up, especially recently with the passing of a celebrity, and this was an inactive celebrity. I mean, with the music, he wasn't really current. But everyone is so saddened by his loss, and I think we're more saddened by the access we have to this person than the actual presence. Because it's like, but what are you going to do with him next week? Exactly. And it's like the loss of them actually brings them back to life. It's actually, they needed to die for us to actually care about them or to, love them and stuff. So that's one point. Secondly, I just want to ask a question now in regards to the book itself. Do you think it might create, Mr. Psychology, don't you think it might create an anxiety for people who are not in that position currently? Let's say I don't yet have someone who is on, what do you call it, deathbed or deathbed or whatever. And I'm reading this book preparing me for this thing, and maybe I am someone who is naturally anxious and stuff like that. Do you think it might be a risk for people like that, or is this for everyone to read? But that's my question.
Thank you for that question. But to answer you, this book, it's not robust. It's a bit mellow. The delivery, it's a bit subtle. I think it's as opposed to making people nervous. I think it would help them to better prepare. I think it's a book for everyone, and it will give you a perspective, even though you don't see yourself in that situation. But when it does come, it's gonna help you deal, because it's not as robust as into the deliveries to, oh my gosh, this is gonna happen to me at some point. What am I gonna do? Life, it gives you it's like watching a movie of a particular person dying and learning to appreciate life. You know, it has a feel good. I don't know how he did it, but even after the tragedies of everything that happened, it has an element, a very small element of feel good about life towards the end, you know.
Yes.
So I don't think it will make people be anxious and everything. I think it will make them much more appreciative. You know, yeah.
Oh wow. Thank you for that answer. I don't have an answer to the question. Usually I step in and tell Delight what I think. Well, this time I don't have an answer. But thank you. That was a good answer actually. Again, thank you Mpho, for really taking the time to be here.
It's a pleasure, guys. Thank you
Come
for
and
having me.
to show off your your skill, your reader skills. I really did like that. It's definitely a book I'm going to check out. I
Yeah,
done
you
a little
should.
bit of research. I already know about Dr. Haywood,
Mm-hmm.
but I when you do the research on the book, you don't hear it from the author's
Yeah.
view. So at least getting the book is something I want to do, so I can read through the author's really site.
I
We're
think
definitely gonna check that out. Thanks
yeah,
for coming.
you're gonna
Rick.
like it. You're gonna like
And
it. Thank you.
yeah, how much would you give the book out of 5 though?
Well, I'm horrible at ratings. I'm very generous.
Are
you
you
know?
too generous?
Yeah, I'm way too generous.
Yeah,
So,
no.
but-
Before you give that rating, I know what Mpho's too generous. I know
yeah, I know that about myself.
Yeah.
But for the mere fact that the author authored this while being a neurosurgeon, so I'm gonna be generous. So I'm gonna give the content. I'm gonna give it a 5.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the content I'm gonna give it a 5
Wow,
because
yeah.
we go through this. You know, at some point you are gonna go through this. You know, and we live as if we're gonna live tomorrow. You know, we live as if the plans that you made for Wednesday guaranteed are gonna
Guaranteed,
happen.
yeah.
You know, and for this book to teach you to appreciate today, the Sunday. You know, the moment that I have with you. You know, I'm gonna give it a 5 on delivery. I think it helps people deal with that. And the style of writing, this guy's a neurosurgeon. It's not an author.
Yeah.
Doesn't have so many bestsellers
Yes.
and stuff. So yeah, I'd give it a 3.5.
Okay.
You know, without saying much, in terms of like where he could have improved. This guy was dying, guys. So,
I mean.
yeah. So
I mean.
yeah. So there was no room for him to improve. So he had to tell his story. He had to tell his story the best way he knows how to tell his story. With the limited time that he has,
Yeah.
I think he did the best that he
best.
could ever done. So
Yeah, but considering the fact that he did literature in school.
yeah,
So I mean,
I
3.5
think-
is
I think-
very high.
I think he did it to get honeys. I didn't.
I don't think it was for honeys. He was so obsessed with figuring life out.
Yes.
To what extent does intelligence put you ahead of the most of most people?
That's true.
So he was obsessed with that, and I think he chose that route, the route of philosophy, history. Then eventually, getting into medicine he wanted to find it out the
Yes,
neuro.
the neuro,
Hence why
yes.
he did that part. But I mean, like you said, you can't time what's going to happen on Wednesday. I hope I get laid on Wednesday. No, I'm joking. So, cut that out, please. But yeah, it's. I think he did good. From even the piece that you read, he really, it sounded very flowing.
Yeah,
You know, you are gonna read it until the end.
yeah, you are.
Yeah.
That's what it does. It's a page
Yes.
turner.
Yes.
And I think with me, maybe my generosity might like to people to neutrals
Yeah.
might be low because remember this is a book that we bought to pass
Oh,
through a particular
yes.
situation. So I
Yes.
feel it did the job for us. Hence, I feel it delivered the papers. Maybe my rating is my judgment is clouded when it
Yeah,
comes to
man.
that. But
A
I
lot
think
of
it's
the
a good
times,
book.
it's just a good
So
book.
yeah,
Sound
when
like a
you
good
get the chance to read it, I think you'll give it a better.
You said take a lot. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna do that.
Yeah.
Oh, there's this plug of mine. We get books, any kind of book. I got
that's
this one
nice.
book called Lost in Math. Not available in this country
Oh,
at all.
wow.
Not even available in America.
Wow.
And those people were able to get it within a month.
Wow.
And I was quite impressed because they stuck to the prices we spent for the amounts we pay in this country. So I'll definitely check the book out. Thanks for the rating.
Yeah, I was gonna leave it with you, but someone is still reading this book.
Oh no!
So once she's finished,
Yeah,
maybe we can gift you.
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. I really would appreciate
Yeah.
that. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hide delight. It's a gift. I don't give away gifts. No. Thank you very much. What do you wanna tell people they can find you at? Where are your socials? what is your WhatsApp number?
Yeah, no, I'm very private about my social media.
Yeah.
So you'll
sense.
find me through the podcast. I think the podcast. I'll be a good friend of the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will.
So
yeah.
there needs to be stalkers.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I will be a guest.
Yeah.
So the social media pages of the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll find me there commenting,
Yeah.
criticizing.
Don't.
Yeah.
Please don't.
Yeah, talking trash on the comment section, especially on Instagram. So you'll find me there at Mpho @_Matlala.
Matlala.
Yeah,
Matlala, thank you
so,
very much. So no WhatsApp number for all the honeys.
No,
He's married.
No.
So
Yeah,
anyway.
my WhatsApp number belongs to the family. So
8 lakh.
Yeah,
8
it's a
lakh.
family WhatsApp number.
And he's wearing a very nice ring. You know, he never used to wear a ring. And I started, I'm like, are you sure you married, my niggas? Like, yeah, I am. Like,
And it's your
I don't
fault.
believe it.
It's your fault that I'm wearing this. Yeah,
It's a nice ring, though. I think your wife seems much happier that
Yeah.
you are wearing the
much
ring.
more secure.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate the time.
Thanks,
We
guys.
appreciate the time. I
Thanks.
hope Comrade will definitely get to listen to
She
this when
must,
she's of
she
sound
must.
mind. Again, I can't thank you more than I have, but I have. You also always have to part with a gift. It was Delight's idea. Such a nice guy, actually. So gifts are always a thing. So thank you very much. Isn't that your name, though?
Yeah, that's my name. I'm Gift.
Yeah,
The
thank you.
gift that keeps on giving.
No, you're only going to give me Harry Delight. The book is really just mine. But thanks again. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate the time. I love you today and tomorrow, and appreciate the now. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I do that to at people. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Bye. What do you do when life is interrupted? What does it mean to have your life fade away? For you, for your family, and for your friends. What makes life worth living? Reading.